Welcome to my YouTube channel. Hi there, hi there. If this is your first time of seeing my face, welcome. Hi. My name is Sophia, or the book owl like my bookish friends like to call me. And today we'll be doing a book review of The Dance of Shadows. If you watched my previous video, the January reading wrap up, you'd know that this is coming. You would know. I have to do a breakdown of this book because this book broke me. And it deserves a spotlight on my channel. If I don't talk about this book, what book will I be talking about exactly? Why would I talk about other books and not talk about this one? Why? Just why? This book is a story about Rumi, a young boy, a young musician that went out to help his mom with her debts because she was owing, like Adwola, that's the name of his mom, was owing some debts, and he was tired of the government officials coming there to come and match and be pressing his mother's neck. So as a young boy that wanted to make his mother proud, he went out there to help his mother with the debt, to perform, use his talent to perform and help his mother with his debt. And he went out there. The very first place he went to, they were making mockery of him rather, laughing at his skin color, because he's from this village called Odu, and they are very distinct. When you see them, you know. In fact, from the cover, you can tell the type of person he is. And they were laughing at his skin color, laughing at the fact that he wanted to play drums because that's not what they were used to. That is the place he went to. I'm trying to remember what it was called. The Golden Room. Yes, they did not want him to play drums, and playing drums is part of who he is. He didn't want to let that go, but somehow he improvised, and at the end of the day, this boy was set up. He met a lot of restrictions when the moment he went out to help his mom. He met a lot of restrictions, death inclusive. Something shall happen. I'm trying so hard not to spoil it for you people, but something shall happen, and this boy broke. And I think a different version of Rumi came out, because the first version we met was very funny, very, very stubborn. Yeah, that did not change. But he was very funny, But we met a different version after the Golden Room, after he was set up. And I think that's very brilliant. One thing I noticed in this book when I was reading it was the world building. I noticed, in fact, let me not lie, the first thing I noticed was how thick this boy is. That's the first thing I noticed. She's very, very thick, and it was very discouraging. I'm not even going to lie. It was very discouraging to get into, because what could you possibly have to say that is so big? Now I do. Now I understand. Now I understand what's so big. I understand. And somewhere in between, I felt like maybe he should have, reduced it, shared it into two, made a sequel and all the rest. But if I'm being honest with myself, I don't think that too would have prompted me to read. It's good that he put everything here once and for all. It's kind of good like that. The first thing I noticed in this book was the world building. This book is high fantasy, in case you don't know. It's high fantasy, and the world building is expected to be abstract, but it is not. It's very easy, very, very easy to understand. You understand what's going on from the very beginning. You already know what you're in for, kinda, because the kind of twist, the amount of twists in this book, felt like I was reading a psychological thriller. I swear to God. And the next thing I noticed was the author's writing was beautiful. It was poetic. I love that. I love that so much. I want to meet this man. I want him to teach me how to write. I want him to teach me how to write. I also noticed how the fight scenes were written in this book. Every single time they were fighting, my chest would be doing boom. Like, I'll be so goddamn scared. It will feel like, it just somehow feels like I'm there. Like I'm with them. And maybe I'm somehow part of the invasion. Maybe I'm just somewhere inside. There's a scene where Rumi's friend Renike had to hide. Oh my days, I was so scared. I was so goddamn scared. I love it when fantasy feels like a movie. Like when it starts looking like words, I'm out of there. I'm out of there. When it feels like a movie, I just feel like the author is doing something right. You get? And I really, really like that. The writing is vivid, it's clear. It would draw so many emotions out of you, disgust included, because there was some creepy shit happening somewhere when they were doing the retellings, the narration of the gods, and when they were down on earth and all the rest of that. Did I mention that they are going to mention all the gods like Orisha, not the rest? Did I mention? I didn't mention. Sorry, no verse. But like, I really like that. I really loved how vivid the writing is. I'm not even going to lie. No. Another thing I noticed were the characters, how the female characters were portrayed. These characters were not portrayed in a way that, being strong means that you have to be masculine. Because that's one thing I noticed that a lot of authors are missing. When they want to write strong female characters, they somehow make them look very masculine. And I hate that so much. I don't like it. You can be feminine and be strong. And this man he understood the assignment. He understood the assignment because they are strong, but they are not any less of a woman. Like, their feminine traits are shining, and they're strong and they're wise. These women made me feel like I'm not doing enough in my life. I still feel like I'm not doing enough in my life. Like, because they are the best in their crafts or their field. You cannot mention top 5 shadow wielders without mention, because that's like the what do I call it now? That's like the occupation, or like, the fighters. That's what they are called, shadow wielders. You cannot mention top 5 shadow wielders without mentioning at least 3 women. Yo, I feel like that's very impressive. You can just tell that this author was loved at home. Yeah, you can tell that this author was surrounded by powerful women, and this author actually does like women. Like, you can tell. And I really, really like that. I really like that. Another thing you notice is the mention of West African spirituality. How juju was used to draw revenge, because Rumi at some point went out in search of vengeance. How I like how juju was used to draw revenge. I like how these superpowers that we were finding were coming out. These new powers that were coming out were all rooted in juju. I like that. It's a win, for Africa. I really like that, because if you search deep down in all these superpowers that we already know of, like in Hollywood, the ones that Hollywood bring and mention, if you check very well, most of them are diabolical. Think about it. Think about it, because I know I will lose a lot of people when I know I've lost a lot of people when I mention juju. And juju is bad, juju is bad, juju is bad, juju is bad. I know. Is vampire that is good? Is it werewolf that is not good? Vampire that will suck out everybody blood. Is it that one that is not good? People like vampires, like werewolves, but you don't want to hear juju. Relax. Because you cannot mention West African history. You cannot write about West Africa without writing about our spirituality. And when you want to write about our spirituality, you have to write about juju. Yes, you write about juju. Yes, you do. And I like how he made it look like part of us, and he made it look like a superpower, made it look like something to be proud of. Because whether you like it or not, you have to be proud of your forefathers now. Are you not a son of the soil or a daughter of the soil? The heck. I really like that. Everybody on my TikTok knows how long it took me to read this book, but I am glad that I read it. It somehow happens to be one of the best books I have read. I'm never going to lie. It's one of the best books I've read ever. One of the best fantasy books that I've read, and I will not be making a book recommendation video about fantasy without adding this one. You better be ready to be sick of me and this book. And it's this man's debut novel. Do you know how sick that is? And I feel like he has set a standard for himself that he better reach you. He better pass. I don't know. That's his business, yeah. But this book is a very good book. It's a 10 out of 10. No, 10 out of 10. Okay. It's a 100 out of 100. 100 out of 10. 1,000 out of 10. I love this book so much. I don't know what else to say. I just love this book so much.